YouTube family, it's your girl Leah, back again with another video. In today's video, as you can see from the title, is just another foundation review Friday. And today's foundation is the ever new, maybe not super new, but it's relatively new on the market, and it is the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation. Now, if you're not familiar with my foundation review series, these are not first impressions videos. Oh, no. This is me having worn the foundation out Monday through Friday. So my entire work week, I wake up in the morning, put this foundation on, and then at the end of the day, I take it off, I evaluate it for that day, and I do it for the remainder of the week. I try it out with different primers, different applicators, and all that, and then I come on here on Saturday and film for you guys what I thought of the foundation overall. Now, I come on and apply the makeup, wear it out as a typical day, and then at the end of the video, I come on and tell you all week I either hated it, loved it, or what my feelings were with the foundation. Now, I also list every single foundation that I reviewed in this series down below. So if you think we're foundation shade twinsies, make sure you check out that description box and make sure you see what I am, and maybe the Maybelline Fit Me, the Revlon Colorstay, MAC, any foundation that I've filmed a review on, the foundation shade is down below in the description box. So make sure you check that out. Now, for today's foundation, like I said, it is the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. Now, Maybelline Fit Me is different than this just because Maybelline Fit Me claims to be kind of a medium coverage. This is supposed to be the full coverage foundation of the Maybelline line. Now, this foundation runs between $9.99 and $11.99. So like $9.99 at Target, $11.99 at Ulta, because you know how Ulta be doing and all that. And just to give you a gauge, Maybelline Fit Me is between like $5.99 and $7.99 at Target and Ulta respectively. Now, what the site claims with this foundation: be your own professional makeup artist with the Maybelline Super Stay Full Coverage Foundation. Saturated color pigments provided an ultra transforming effect in this long-lasting foundation. The lightweight yet high impact coverage formula glides onto skin for a flawless finish that lasts all day. Now, in terms of my shade in this foundation, I am in this shade 334, which is Warm Sun. The site has 16 shades for this foundation. There are only 4 shades after Warm Sun. Come on, Maybelline, y'all gotta do better than that. Now, like I said, I test these foundations out with different applicators, different primers throughout the week to figure out what works best with this. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. This isn't my first time filming this video. I also filmed this video on the same day I filmed my Elsa wig review as well as my Friday night hair wig review. So if you see those videos, I have the Maybelline Super Stay Foundation on. I just didn't like how that video turned out. So this is just me refilming it. And in that video though, I was also disappointed with the primer that I decided to use. I decided to use Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water in that, and I just don't feel like it was hydrating enough. I have dry skin. Don't think I've said it in this video so far, but I do have dry skin, so this whole video will be from a dry skin girl's perspective. I use that primer, and that's usually one of my more hydrating primers, and it still wasn't enough for me in my dry skin, especially with it being winter right now. So I have another primer that is one of my more so hydrating primers. It's not my super like dewy finish one, but it's somewhere in the middle between Smashbox Primer Water and my NYX Honeydew primer. I love the Strobe Cream by MAC, so that is the primer that I will be using today. So for applicators, I like the application that I got from both the brush and the sponge this week. I really didn't have a preference. I like the brush because it does provide that full coverage. I like the sponge for a whole different reason. It soaks up the coverage a little bit. I myself prefer a sheer to medium coverage in my foundations. I love full coverage though for filming and things like that. Being on camera, I always have a full coverage. I'm not going to use MAC Face and Body for recording videos and things like that. So I like the application with both just for different reasons, but I'm going to apply with both today on camera. Now, in terms of how much you need, this foundation you have to be very careful with because it can go from 0 to 100 real quick, and you can be very caked faced at the end of the day if you apply too much. Now, I think my good sweet spot was about 2.5 pumps. I'm going to apply 3 on the back of this though, just because I'm going to use that sponge as well, and that sponge will soak up a lot of product. Now that you guys are right up on me, let's start applying. You have to work very fast with this product because it's not the most blendable, but let's work it out. So this is the no foundation side that I'm going to use the beauty blender on, and this is the foundation side, as you can see. Okay, so I have gone ahead, applied it all to my face right now, half with the Real Technique sponge, half with the brush. Like I said, throughout the week, there was no winner in terms of which applicator worked the best. Both work best for different reasons, but I won't go too deep into it. I will go and apply the rest of my face, and I will come back and share with you guys a little bit of how it works well with other products, and then I'll come back at the end of the day and let you know my final thoughts, if it's long wearing and all that. So stay tuned. Now I am back. I have applied the rest of my face. I bronzed, I contoured, I did the whole shebang today. I wanted to really live it up. I have some like flowy hair going on right now, so I was like, I have to build my face up. But in terms of how this foundation interacts with other products, works beautifully with other products because of the smooth canvas that the matte finish gives. I think it works well with powders, it works well with creams. My highlight, it did take a little bit to build up. I used two different today. I used like Champagne Pop as well as Laura Geller Gilded Honey. I used two highlights just because it wasn't building up, and that's something I realized. But throughout, my other powders worked well. It was just my more shimmery products that took a little bit more building up to do, and I still don't feel like I boomed with the highlight today. But this is how it looks. Of course, I'm going to go on throughout the rest of my day. I didn't really comment on the foundation shade match. I think it is a great match for me. I think if you're close to my shade, this is going to be your shade match. 3, 3, 4 Warm Sun. I think you go one shade up, it's going to be way too dark. I think you go one shade down, it's not going to be way too light, because I've seen somebody who's tried one shade down. It just wasn't my cup of tea. But I'm going to go on with the rest of my day and then come back with you guys and share with you my final day thoughts, how long I could wear this foundation to, and what I've experienced with this foundation from wearing it for almost 2 weeks. So stay tuned. So now I am back. I'm back at my normal filming time. I always come back right before sunset, and it is 4:30. I put this on about 9:30, so I've had this foundation on for about 7 hours, and my full face overall I think looks good. The only thing that's gone now is my lips. It's because I just ate I don't know what you call it at 4:30. It's too early for dinner, but it's too late for lunch, and I don't know if I'm going to eat again for the rest of the day. You know that phase when it's a little too late, a little too early. I just want to explain why my lips are kind of not there anymore. But it's about this foundation, and today's foundation, like I said, I filmed this entire video about a week or 2 weeks ago, either or, and I did not like the footage of it. I didn't like it. My first impression of this, I think I went a little too hard in my first video. I looked back at it and I was like, girl, you didn't have to do them like that. I didn't enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it, and I think it had a lot to do with my primers and me being a dry skin person. Like I said, I use the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water, and I think a lot of times that's my most hydrating primer, but the MAC Strobe Cream as well as NYX Honey Do Me Up are really my two most hydrating primers that I own. If I know, like, I don't go for these too often because sometimes I feel like they're too slippery, like there's too much, and the MAC Strobe Cream definitely has a luminosity to it, and it has like a little bit of reflex, I think, sometimes when I wear it, so I try to avoid this, but it is one of my most hydrating primers out there. So when I applied it with this one day, I had a kind of different reaction to it. For me, my first impression, if I do a repeat of what I said in my first video, the thing that I hated about it was that it looked like nothing. Like, my skin looked like nothing. It did nothing for my skin. I didn't feel like it was worth even $9.99 or $11.99. It was just foundation sitting on my face. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was overly dry. I felt like there was no oomph to my skin. My face was really one-dimensional and all that, but I gave it one more week of a try. I said I need to figure out, maybe it's something that I'm doing wrong in terms of this foundation. And I have to say, if you're dry skin, use the most hydrating primer that you have. If you're oily skin, keep on using a mattifying primer. I watched, and I never watch other people's reviews on foundations, but the one person I watched all the way through is Samantha Jane. I'll link her video up above. She's an oily skin person, so I don't watch her reviews mainly for her thoughts on the foundations. I look at her complexion, so I watch some of her reviews, or at least a little bit of it, enough to get her foundation shade match, and then I normally go one up from her. But I watched her whole video all the way through. Watch it if you're oily skin. Click off this video right now and watch her video all the way through. Now, at the end of the day on her, after hours of wear, her face was oily. It was an oil slick, but she still liked the foundation. Oddly enough, I was like, wow, you liked it, and it was very oily. You'll see what I mean if you watch her video. But on me, it's very much so matte. It's still matte. Don't have to blot anything. Everything looks exactly the same, but that's how it is with most foundations that I review on this channel. If you ever know, my face always looks the same because dry skin, what's gonna happen? It's not like my skin produces all these oils and I'm gonna have that issue. Now, pros with this foundation. I think a pro of it is that it does have a pump. I like the fact that it has a pump. You guys know I have reviewed, I think, 3 Maybelline foundations up to this point on my channel. I've reviewed the Maybelline Fit Me, the Maybelline Super Stay Better Skin, and then this Super Stay. Now, I love this foundation. Out of the 3, you guys know I love Maybelline Fit Me. Wish it had a pump. I don't know why these 2 have pumps. This one doesn't. Put a pump on this Maybelline. I say it in all my videos. I like this one because I'm more so a medium coverage girl. I like a medium coverage. This is matte and poreless. It's a matte foundation, but I feel like it doesn't overly dry my skin like this is doing right now. This foundation feels a lot heavier than this foundation does on my skin, and this foundation does have a lot of shade ranges. I like this foundation out of it. You guys know if you watched my video, I hated this foundation. I don't know what, I can't call it. I haven't used this foundation since that foundation review week. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this. I love the concealer right after I bought this foundation. You guys know I bought the concealer after I reviewed the foundation. I love this concealer. My number 2 concealer. Hate that foundation. Now with this foundation, I like the pump. I like that they have a full coverage option. I think I actually like the fact that it doesn't have sunscreen in it because I think it makes for amazing photography. I love all the pictures that I've taken with this foundation. Well, I like the longevity of it. I think it's very much so Longwear. I give it that. I say it's true to form on that. So yeah, those are my pros with it. My cons with it, hate the shade range on this. One shade up from this is way too dark. I don't know. There are like at least 2 shades in between me and the next shade up, and that's crazy. I don't understand, so hate that. I don't think it's breathable and comfortable. That's what it says on here. I definitely don't feel like my skin is breathable or comfortable at all. I feel like I have foundation on, and that's how I am with a lot of full coverage foundations. There's rare that I find full coverage and Weightless in the same category. They're never, I always feel like even though it's 2, I think I used 3 pumps today, even though I've used 2.5 to 3 pumps throughout the week of wearing this, I always feel very full coverage. It feels like foundation is sitting on my face, and that's the one thing I don't like. I don't like the price point of it. Like I said, Maybelline Fit Me is $5.99, $7.99. Maybe the price point is because it has a pump, but I think I don't like the packaging of it just because of the simple white container. You could have did something black, I don't know, pink, something y'all could have did to kind of jazz this up. Now, my reaction, my gut reaction, would I repurchase this? I would probably say no, for the simple fact of I don't need more full coverage foundations in my collection. You guys know I love the Revlon Colorstay. I will repeat over and over on this channel. I love Revlon Colorstay, one of my go-to favorite full coverage foundations. Now, if I didn't have Revlon Colorstay, this is the first one I picked up, I would probably keep this in my collection. Probably wouldn't even go for Revlon Colorstay, but I feel like that's become such a staple in my life. I love it. It's 24-hour wear. It promises everything this one does. It has a black lid, and there's so many shades of Revlon Colorstay. I think they're even coming out with more and more shades of Revlon Colorstay, and I have to say kudos to them. Love it. I'm going to support you if you keep on putting out more shades. So Revlon Colorstay, definitely comparable to this foundation. I think Revlon Colorstay, the only difference is it does have SPF, and so it can be iffy with flash photography, but I never take flash photography. Don't like flash photography. If I can't take a picture in natural sunlight, I ain't taking a picture. Don't exist. So this is why this isn't a repurchase for me. I will definitely use this container up though. I definitely will film and do that in it, but in real life, in person, I think it's just a little bit too cakey, a little bit too full coverage for me. You definitely have to be careful. You have to work well with blending. It looks good with both a brush and a sponge, but it's just a little bit too much work for me on a day-to-day basis. I definitely think a day-to-day basis foundation from Maybelline for me, myself, Lia Lavon, is Maybelline Fit Me. So that is my thoughts on this foundation. I hope it wasn't too long. I tried to abbreviate it a little bit, but I'm sure I didn't. Make sure if you like my foundation review series, you give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're following me on Instagram at Lia Lavon89. Make sure you're following me on Snapchat at Miss Talia89, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.